Welcome dear friends to my video one which was theoretical concepts, no models, technologies or methodologies. Right. Applied research is more focused and seeks to make a direct and immediate impact on society, industry or organizations. Examples include research in medicine, engineering and agriculture. What is the primary goal of applied research? Just to see the alternatives. What is the primary goal of applied research? That is to address practical problems. Applied research focuses on solving real world problems and improving practical situations rather than purely advancing theoretical knowledge. Which of the following best defines applied research? Out of these four alternatives, which of the following best defines applied research? That is, applied research aimed at solving practical problems. It is aimed at solving practical problems. Applied research is conducted with the intention of finding practical solutions to existing problems or improving current status or current situations. Which type of research is primarily concerned with the application of theories to practical problems? Basic research, of course, just see the alternatives. Which type of research is primarily concerned with the application of theories? That is, once again, applied research. We are giving it in different words, that's all. So that, repetition is the mother of success after all. That because of that we are repeating it, yes, but it is worth repeating so that the concepts get once and for all fixed in our mind. So applied research involves applying existing theories to real world problems to find practical solutions. Which of the following is an example of applied research out of these four? Once again, creating a program to improve traffic flow in a city. Out of these four, that comes closer to the correct answer. That is, creating a program to improve traffic flow in a city. Developing a program to improve traffic flow addresses a practical problem, making it an example of applied research. In applied research, what is the key emphasis? There are four alternatives. What is the key emphasis in applied research? That is enhancing practical outcomes. Applied research is geared towards improving practical situations, aiming for tangible outcomes, concrete consequences, concrete results or concrete outcomes, tangible outcomes. Which statement accurately describes applied research? Just see all the four alternatives. That is, it focuses on solving specific practical problems. Applied research is practical and directed toward solving specific issues rather than theoretical expansion. What distinguishes applied research from basic research? What is the difference between applied research and basic research? It is a level of theoretical exploration. That matters a lot. That is the difference actually, level of theoretical exploration. That is, applied research applies existing theories to practical problems. In other words, there are theories and applied research takes any one of the theories and then it is applied in research in order to solve a particular problem, practical problem. Basic research aims to expand theoretical knowledge, purely theoretical knowledge or theory creation, theory making or theory development. So that is the difference. Completely, it expands the theoretical knowledge, that is basic research. Applied research takes any one of the theories already found out and then uses that theory in order to solve a particular problem in research. So applied research applies the existing theories to practical problems, while basic research aims to expand theoretical knowledge. Which research type focuses on generating new knowledge and theories? Which research type focuses on generating new knowledge and theories? Out of these four alternatives, basic research. Basic research is primarily concerned with generating new knowledge and theories, unlike applied research which applies existing theories to solve problems. Which of the following is an essential characteristic of applied research? Which of the following is an essential characteristic of applied research? Out of these four alternatives, which is the correct one? That is, it often involves a field work and practical experimentation. Of course, after all, it solves the practical problem through applied research. So that's why it often involves field work and practical experimentation. Applied research typically involves practical experimentation and field work to address real world problems. What is the potential outcome of applied research? Out of these four alternatives, which is the right one? Improved practices or policies. Applied research aims to improve practices, policies or processes by providing practical solutions based on existing theories. Now let us talk about quantitative research. What is the meaning? What are the characteristics of quantitative research? Quantitative research involves the collection and analysis of numerical data to identify patterns, relationships, and trends. It employs structured methods such as surveys, experiments, and statistical analysis to draw conclusions and generalize findings to a larger population. That is quantitative research. So these are the characteristics. Quantitative research is often used to test hypotheses and make predictions based on numerical evidence. Quantitative research means numbers, statistical data, etc. So it is common in fields like psychology, economics, and sociology. Next, what is the primary goal of quantitative research? Out of these four alternatives, which is the correct one? Primary goal of quantitative research, that is to quantify variables and relationships, to measure, in other words, to put it into some mathematical calculation, through statistical techniques or anything. So to quantify variables and relationships. Quantitative research aims to quantify variables and relationships using statistical methods to analyze numerical data. Which of the following is a characteristic of quantitative research? Out of these four alternatives, which one should be the correct one? That is a statistical analysis. Out of these four, that comes, the closest to the answer. That is the most correct answer. Because it talks about numbers, counting, measurements, etc. So statistical analysis. Statistical analysis is the right answer. Quantitative research involves a statistical analysis to interpret numerical data and draw conclusions. Which research approach focuses on gathering numerical data through surveys or experiments? Which research approach focuses on gathering numerical data through surveys or experiments? Out of these four, which is the right one? Which research approach? That is quantitative research. Quantitative research involves collecting numerical data using structured methods such as surveys or experiments. What is a common data collection method in quantitative research? What is a common data collection method in quantitative research? Questionnaires. Questionnaires are a widely used method in quantitative research for collecting structured numerical data from a large number of participants. Which of the following is an example of a quantitative research topic? There are four examples given, which is the right one as far as quantitative research is concerned. That is analyzing customer satisfaction ratings. Out of these four, because customer satisfaction rating means it is number 1 to 5, 1 to 11. Which rating you will give, that is some measurement, isn't it? So quantitative research topic, analyzing customer satisfaction rating, that is the example of a quantitative research topic. Analyzing customer satisfaction ratings involves collecting numerical data and falls under the realm of quantitative research. Which statistical tool is often used to measure the strength and direction of a relationship between two variables in quantitative research? Which statistical tool is often used to measure the strength and direction of a relationship between two variables in quantitative research? That is a correlation coefficient. The correlation coefficient is used to measure the strength and direction of the relationship between two variables in quantitative research. In quantitative research, what is the purpose of random sampling? In quantitative research, what is the purpose of random sampling? Out of four alternatives, which is a correct one? That is to ensure every element has an equal chance of selection. That is random sampling. Random sampling means without likes and dislikes of the researcher, he follows a particular pattern to choose the samples. In a random manner means in an objective manner. There are no likes and dislikes with regard to the collection of samples. That is called a random sampling because it is very objective. Random sampling always gives certain objectivity in research. Random sampling helps ensure that each element in the population has an equal chance of being included, enhancing representativeness. Which type of research design involves studying a sample over a specific period and collecting data at multiple time points? Which type of research design involves studying a sample over a specific period, means over a long period, and collecting data at multiple time points at different stages, at different points, at different stages. That means it should be a longer period. So that is longitudinal research design. Longitudinal research involves collecting data from the same subjects at different points in time, allowing the study of changes and trends over time. For an example, some psychologist wants to study the characteristics of adolescents. Then he has to observe the children, pre-adolescent children, then adolescent children for a longer time. So at different stages he has to study and observe and write the, take down the growth process, everything. So that way longitudinal research involves collecting data from the same subject at different points in time, allowing the study of changes and trends over time. What does quantification refer to in qualitative research? Quantification referred to in qualitative research. See, actually qualitative research will not worry about quantification as such, but at the end it has to do that. Normally the researcher himself does so many things. Of course coding and other things are there, but there is no quantification as such. But then quantification also is there to some extent, in the sense that you have, for the sake of comparison between phenomena, you need to have certain quantification. So quantification is referred to in qualitative research. What does this mean? Out of these four alternatives, which is the correct one? Converting qualitative data into numbers. That is the idea. Quantification in qualitative research involves, so qualitative research involves converting qualitative observations or concepts into numerical data, facilitating analysis and comparison. That is the purpose. What is the primary goal of quantitative research? Out of these four alternatives, which you will take as the correct one? That is this one, to measure and analyze the numerical data, because it involves numbers. Quantitative research focuses on collecting and analyzing numerical data to draw statistical conclusions. Which of the following is an example of quantitative data? There are four alternatives, which is the right one. Interview transcripts, observational field notes, and descriptive narratives come under qualitative researches. Qualitative data, whereas quantitative data is measurement. So that way C is the right option. Height measurements in inches. Height measurements in inches represent quantitative data because they are numerical and can be quantified. What is a common data collection method used in quantitative research? Surveys and questionnaires. What is the common data collection method used in quantitative research? Out of these four alternatives, we see surveys and questionnaires is the correct answer, because surveys and questionnaires are commonly used in quantitative research to collect structured data from a large sample. Which of the following best describes the purpose of hypothesis testing in quantitative research? Which of the following best describes the purpose of hypothesis testing in quantitative research? Out of these four alternatives, which is the correct one? That is to validate research findings. The purpose of hypothesis testing is that one, to validate a research finding. For that only we have the hypothesis testing in quantitative research, to validate a research finding. Keep it in mind. Hypothesis testing is used to assess the validity of research findings based on statistical analysis. In quantitative research, what does a sample refer to? In quantitative research, what does a sample refer to? Out of these four alternatives, which is the correct one? That is Sample means a subset of the population chosen for data collection. What does this mean? You see, suppose I want to study the personal values of B.Ed trainees. Of course, all over India, whereas all over Tamil Nadu. Now, I cannot study the entire population, the entire unit of B.Ed students all over the country. I can only take certain samples. So, I go to some 20 colleges and then take a survey for 1,500 students. And after getting the results, everything, I generalize these results to the entire population. That means all the B.Ed students. That is called population. So a sample in quantitative research is a subset of the population chosen for data collection and analysis. So 1,500 students, B.Ed students I am choosing for data collection and analysis. Whereas the results are generalized to the entire group of B.Ed students, that is called population. So, what is a sample? It is a subset of the population chosen for data collection and analysis. I hope you understood this. Which statistical measure is often used to describe the central tendency of a data set in quantitative research? Which statistical measure is often used to describe the central tendency of a data set in quantitative research? Variance, median, range, frequency. Of course, we have studied in lower classes up to 10th, 10th, even B.Ed as a B.Ed student, or at different levels in the college. The median is a measure of central tendency that represents the middle value in a data set. What is the purpose of a control group in experimental quantitative research? What is the purpose of a control group in experimental quantitative research? Now, out of these four alternatives, which is the correct one? That is to provide comparison and baseline data. That is the purpose of the control group in experimental quantitative research. I just give you an example so that you understand the entire concept of experimental research. I want to study through experiment the benefit or the utility of media education in education. So, how do I do this experiment? I want to prove that it is helpful. Media education is helpful for giving proper knowledge to the students. So I use experimental research for this. For this, what I do, the 30 students in the class, I divide them into two groups, 50 students, 50 students. For one group, I don't give anything. I am teaching in an ordinary way. That is traditional teaching I am having, 50 students. And another group, I am giving media education. I hope you understand this. That is called the experimental group. If I give media education to one of these two groups, that is the experimental group. Control group, I don't give anything. Only, traditional teaching I am giving. So this is called the control group. Another group, which I am giving media education in order to measure the effectiveness of media education in teaching learning process. That group is called experimental group. I hope you understood. This media education becomes the independent variable because I manipulate this variable at different levels. I can give this media education, so that is independent variable. So I think you must understand these concepts in order to understand the entire experimental quantitative research, and so many questions will be coming under this. So the control group is nothing but the group of students who are not given anything at all. Simply they are given some traditional teaching. So the control group, they are there in order to have comparison and baseline data. See, the traditional teaching will not be helpful. Media education will be helpful. In order to compare and for evidence, baseline data we want to get. For that reason, the control group is arranged. So the purpose of a control group is to provide comparison and baseline data. I hope you have understood this. So control group, experimental group, independent variable, that is media education. So based on this, so many questions will be appearing in the exam. A control group is used to provide baseline data for comparison with the experimental group in quantitative experiments. What is the experimental group? The group which is given the media education, online education. That is what we want to measure. We are giving it to them, and then finally we evaluate both the results. What is the effect of traditional teaching in the control group? What is the effect of media education in the experimental group? Based on that we compare, and for that reason control group is used to provide baseline data. I hope you understood this. Which of the following is an example of a closely ended survey question in quantitative research? Which of the following is an example of a closely ended survey question in quantitative research? Just to see all the alternatives, which is the correct one. Just see that option C. On a scale of 1 to 5, that is a closely ended question. You cannot go for 6 or you cannot come down below 1. So 1 to 5 only you have to give the ratings. So it is a closed ended question, this one. On a scale of 1 to 5, how satisfied are you with the product? Out of these 5 you have to give the rating. If you give 5, that is you are having highest satisfaction. If you give 1, lowest satisfaction. This is how we can say. Anyway, it is only the closed ended question, this one. On a scale of 1 to 5, how satisfied are you with the product? Closed ended questions provide structured response options such as scales or multiple choice, commonly used in quantitative surveys. Closed ended questions are given in quantitative surveys. Which research approach is characterized by its emphasis on generalizability to a broader population in quantitative research? Which research approach is characterized by its emphasis on generalizability to a broader population in quantitative research? Of course, D. Inferential research. Inferential research aims to generalize findings from a sample to a broader population in quantitative research. Inferential research aims to generalize findings from a sample to a broader population in quantitative research. What is the term for the process of selecting a subset of individuals or elements from a population for research purposes in quantitative research? What is the term for the process of selecting a subset of individual? What is it called? Out of these 4, it is called probability sampling. Probability sampling involves selecting a sample from a population using a defined probability method, ensuring representativeness in quantitative research. So we are using probability sampling in quantitative researches. What is the primary aim of quantitative research? Out of these 4 alternatives, which is the correct one? What is the primary aim of quantitative research? By this time you would have found out to measure and analyze numerical data. Option B. To measure and analyze numerical data. Right. To measure and analyze numerical data, quantitative research focuses on collecting numerical data and analyzing it statistically to draw conclusions. Which of the following is a characteristic of quantitative research? The quality of quantitative research. You just see all the 4 alternatives. So D, use of structured questionnaires and surveys. That is the characteristic of quantitative research. That is use of structured questionnaires and surveys. Quantitative research often employs structured instruments like questionnaires to gather data from a large sample in a standardized manner. Which of the following is an example of quantitative research? Which of the following is an example of quantitative research out of these 4 examples? Of course, by this time you would have found out surveying 500 households, families to determine their water usage patterns, because the number is involved here. So that is quantitative research. Surveying households and gathering numerical data is a hallmark of quantitative research. What does quantification mean in the context of qualitative research? Once again, I made a mistake. I think it's not quantitative research, qualitative research, I think. I hope it is correct. What does quantification mean in the context of qualitative research? That is the process of translating qualitative data into numbers. Sometimes you need to do it even in qualitative researches. To some extent, to a small extent, you have to use quantification for the sake of comparison between the phenomena. So for that reason, you are translating qualitative data into numbers, even in qualitative research, or at the end perhaps. So quantification involves converting qualitative observations or data into numerical values for analysis. This is for analysis. Which statistical analysis is commonly used in quantitative research to measure the relationship between two variables. Which statistical analysis is commonly used in quantitative research? Out of these four, that already we have done this, we explained to you. T-test. T-test is a statistical tool used to determine if there is a significant difference between the means of two groups. T-test is that. What is the meaning of T-test? It is a statistical tool used to determine if there is a significant difference between the means of two groups. That is T-test. In quantitative research, what is a population? We already explained to you. Yes, just see for yourself out of these four alternatives which is the correct one. In quantitative research, what is a population? That is the entire group being studied. We take certain sample. I already given you an example. B.Ed trainees, 1,500 students I study, but then I generalize the results for the entire group of B.Ed students. That is population. Okay, the entire group being studied. That is the correct answer. In quantitative research, what is a population? That is the entire group being studied as the entire group of B.Ed students for an example. The population in quantitative research refers to the entire group about which the study is concerned. Which of the following is a key advantage of quantitative research? Which of the following is a key advantage of quantitative research? Out of these four alternatives, which should be the correct one? That is the ability to establish cause and effect relationship. That is very important. This quantitative research. That is ability to establish cause and effect relationship. This causal effect, causal relationship is the a very important concept in quantitative research. Ability to establish cause and effect relationship, that is in quantitative research. Quantitative research allows for the identification of cause and effect relationship through rigorous data analysis, statistical analysis perhaps. So through rigorous data analysis, quantitative research allows for the identification of cause and effect relationship between the phenomena, between the variables. What is a research hypothesis in quantitative research? Research hypothesis, what does this mean? There are four alternatives given. That is a specific prediction about the expected outcomes of the study. A specific prediction about the expected outcomes of the study. So that is the research hypothesis in quantitative research. A research hypothesis is a clear, testable prediction regarding the expected outcomes of a study based on existing knowledge or theories. A research hypothesis is a clear, testable prediction regarding the expected outcomes of a study based on existing knowledge or theories. Qualitative research. We will give a certain insight with regard to qualitative research. Qualitative research focuses on understanding human behavior, experiences, and social phenomena through non-numerical data such as interviews, observations, and content analysis. Qualitative research emphasizes the interpretation and understanding of meanings, context, and perspectives. Qualitative research is exploratory, allowing researchers to generate hypotheses or theories. It is prevalent in social sciences, education, and anthropology. So quantitative research is exploratory, allowing researchers to generate hypotheses or theories. Qualitative, we are talking about qualitative research. It is prevalent in social sciences, education, and anthropology. What is the primary goal of qualitative research? out of these four alternatives, which is the correct one, what is the primary goal of qualitative research? That is to explore and understand the phenomena, the reality. To explore and understand the phenomena or the reality. Qualitative research aims to explore and understand social, cultural and behavioral phenomena through non-numeric data, focusing on meanings, experiences and interpretations. Which method is commonly used to collect data in qualitative research? Out of these four alternatives, which is the correct one? Which method is commonly used to collect data in qualitative research? That is interviews. Interviews, both structured and unstructured, are a common method in qualitative research to gather in-depth insights and understand perspectives. What do you mean by structured and unstructured interview? If you prepare a set of questions in a logical style, then it is structured interview. But according to the need of the hour, according to the situation, you have your own questions in the interview. Given the personality of the person, you or the group, you then and there you just give certain questions in the interview. Then it is unstructured interview. So interviews, both structured and unstructured, are a common method in qualitative research to gather in-depth insights and understand perspectives. What is the key characteristic of qualitative data? What is the key characteristic or important quality of qualitative data? That is subjective and descriptive. Qualitative data, subjective and descriptive, very important one. Subjective and descriptive, because the researcher himself takes the responsibility of formulating the topic and the group which he wants to study and the methods which he wants to use. So that way it becomes subjective and descriptive. That is the characteristic of qualitative data. Qualitative data is descriptive and subjective, often involving words, observations and interpretations rather than numerical measurements. Which sampling techniques is frequently used in qualitative research? Which sampling technique is frequently used in qualitative research? In order to choose samples, which technique you are using? That is, especially in qualitative research, purposive sampling. What does this mean? Purposive sampling is commonly used in qualitative research where specific individuals or groups are selected based on particular characteristics relevant to the research. Because it will be normally small. The sample size will be very small in qualitative research because very interesting and very difficult things the researcher wants to study. So he will be choosing samples according to the aims of the research, his research. So the purposive sampling is commonly used in qualitative research. There specific individuals or groups are selected based on particular characteristics, qualities relevant to the research. Samples cannot be anything. According to the characteristics relevant to the research, the researcher has to choose the samples. That is purposive sampling. What is a common method for analyzing qualitative data? What is a common method for analyzing qualitative data? Out of these four alternatives, which is the correct one? That is content analysis. Content analysis involves systematically analyzing textual or visual data to identify themes, patterns and meanings within the data. That is content analysis. So the very fact that the content analysis comes, it comes under qualitative research, you must understand. Content analysis involves systematically analyzing textual or visual data to identify themes, patterns and meanings within the data. Which approach emphasizes the researcher's role in qualitative research? Which approach emphasizes the researcher's, everything goes on very well, I think, because camera is working. Which approach emphasizes the researcher's role in qualitative research? After collecting enough data, the researcher has to interpret according to the aims of his research. That is interpretivism. Interpretivism comes there in qualitative research. That word interpretive, interpretation, interpretivism is a word very important in qualitative research. So you must understand that. Interpretivism emphasizes understanding the subjective experiences and meanings people attach to phenomena, highlighting the researcher's role in interpreting these meanings. So many things, the particular group will be saying, and their behavior patterns, so many items he will be observing. So all these things have to be, explained with some understanding. The researcher has to interpret all these things in some patterns. That is the idea here. Interpretivism emphasizes understanding the subjective experiences and meanings people attach to phenomena, highlighting the researcher's role in interpreting these meanings. Which term describes the process of re-examining data to refine themes or patterns? Which term describes the process of re-examining data to refine themes or patterns? That is constant comparison. There is a particular word, constant comparison. This is the concept. Constant comparison is a process in qualitative analysis where data is repeatedly compared to identify patterns and refine themes. Constant comparison is a process in qualitative analysis where data is repeatedly compared to identify patterns and refine themes. That is the meaning of this particular concept, constant comparison. What is a common tool used for data collection in participant observations? What is a common tool used for data collection in participant observation? Of course, out of these four, very easily we can find out. Tool means instrument. Which instrument you are using for data collection in participant observation? In order to get the correct data, you are using audio recorder so that no point is missed. That is the idea here. Audio recorder we are using. Now, audio recorders are often used in participant observations to accurately capture spoken interactions and behaviors for analysis. So, next one. In qualitative research, what does reflexivity refer to? Reflexivity is very much, the quality of a researcher in qualitative research. Is a characteristic of a researcher, qualitative researcher. Researcher in qualitative research, reflexivity. What does this mean? We will just analyze. See, just to see which is the correct one out of these four. Do you have some idea about it? Reflexivity in qualitative research. By this time, you would have seen that is the researcher's self-awareness and influence on the study. Why this, what is the need for this reflexivity? Reflexivity in qualitative research acknowledges and addresses the researcher's potential biases, beliefs and perspectives that may affect the study. Often the researcher has to indulge in self-reflexivity because after all he is also a human being. He may be having certain likes and dislikes, prejudices, certain belief systems, certain perspectives on different aspects of life. So he needs to evaluate that should not influence his research finding. That is the idea. So reflexivity on the part of the researcher is very much needed in qualitative research. So reflexivity in qualitative research acknowledges and addresses the researcher's potential biases, that is prejudices, likes and dislikes, beliefs and perspectives that may affect the study. What is having internally may affect the study, so he has to be a little careful. In order to arrive at objective result, he needs to indulge in self-reflection, that is reflexivity. The researcher's self-awareness and influence on the study, that is called reflexivity in qualitative research. What is the primary goal of qualitative research? What is the primary goal of qualitative research? Out of these four, which one is the correct one? To explore and understand complex phenomena. To explore and understand complex phenomena. Qualitative research aims to explore and gain an in-depth understanding of social phenomena rather than quantifying relationships or testing hypotheses. Of course, you understood. Already we explained it, we are doing it in different words, that's all. What is the term for the process of selecting participants in qualitative research? What is the term What is the term for the process of selecting participants in qualitative research? Out of these four alternatives, which is the correct one? That is called snowball sampling. What does this mean? Snowball sampling involves selecting initial participants and then using their connections to identify additional participants, often used in qualitative research when the population is hard to access. See, a particular thing the researcher wants to study. For that, he cannot get any other sample. He needs to get certain, purposeful samples which are really helpful for his research in the qualitative research. So he may choose some 10 people for an example, but he needs some 20 people, 20 samples. That means these 10 people, he will ask them to suggest some more 10 people, because they may be knowing in that field, some more experts perhaps. So they will be suggesting some people to this researcher. So if sampling is taken that way through the participant, that is called snowball sampling. Snowball sampling involves selecting initial participants and then using their connection to identify additional participants, often used in qualitative research when the population is hard to access. Sometimes the researcher may not be unable to find the good number of the desirable number of samples. Then he has some 8 people, but these 8 people will suggest some other people. This is how the snowball sampling occurs. I hope you understood this. So snowball, very important question, often they are asking this in NET exam. Snowball sampling involves selecting initial participants and then using their connections to identify additional participants, often used in qualitative research when the population is hard to access. Which data collection method is commonly used in qualitative research to gather rich, in-depth information through open-ended conversations? Which data collection method is commonly used in qualitative research to gather rich, in-depth information through open-ended conversation? Just see all the 4 alternatives. That is interviews. Already we have explained to you. Qualitative interviews allow researchers to have open-ended conversations with participants, facilitating the exploration of their perspectives and experiences. So the qualitative interviews show, open-ended conversation with participants. Qualitative interviews allow researchers to have open-ended conversation with participants. This facilitates the exploration of their perspectives and experiences. I hope you understood this. General meaning you understand, that's enough. You need not, understand each and every word. But qualitative interview means this. Open-ended conversation in order to have exploration of the perspective, different viewpoints and experiences. General meaning we must understand. In qualitative data analysis, what is the process of identifying recurring themes or patterns in the data called? In qualitative data analysis, what is the process of identifying recurring themes or patterns in the data called? There are 4 alternatives, which is the thing. That is according to the themes. So thematic analysis. In qualitative data analysis, what is the process of identifying recurring themes or patterns in the data called? That is thematic analysis. Thematic analysis, that is based on themes, is a common method in qualitative research for identifying and analyzing recurring themes or patterns in the data. Then, which of the following is an example of qualitative research? Out of these 4, which of the following is an example of qualitative research? That is observing and recording the behaviors of children in a daycare center. That is a qualitative example of qualitative research. Observing and recording the behaviors of children in a daycare center. Observational research in a daycare center involves qualitative data collection through direct observation. So that is the idea here. Observational research in a daycare center involves qualitative data collection through direct observation. What is a common approach to ensuring trustworthiness in qualitative research? What is a common approach to ensuring trustworthiness in qualitative research? Just see all the 4 alternatives. So what is a common approach to ensuring trustworthiness in qualitative research? See all the 4 alternatives, just say which is the correct one. You know, there is a term, there is a concept called triangulation of data resources, very important one in research. Triangulation of data sources. What does this mean? Triangulation involves using multiple data sources or methods to corroborate findings and enhance the trustworthiness of qualitative research. There is validity and reliability. In other words, triangulation involves using multiple data sources in order to enhance the validity and reliability of qualitative research. That is the idea here. Both the validity and trustworthiness, that is validity and trustworthiness of qualitative research. Triangulation means that. You are using different methods, quantitative methods and qualitative methods. You are blending. Sometimes the first qualitative method comes, afterwards quantitative method comes, vice versa. In certain researches it will be like that. First qualitative data, at the end you are using quantitative data, like that. So you are using different methods in order to attain more accuracy in research. In other words, the qualitative research becomes more enhanced because of more trustworthiness, validity and reliability. More reliability, more validity happens because of triangulation method in research. Yeah. Now, which of the following is not a common qualitative data analysis software? Which of the following is not a common qualitative data analysis software? Now, SPSS, everyone knows that, especially in colleges. If you are doing project, you must be knowing that. SPSS for quantitative method, that statistical package for social sciences. So that is SPSS. That is for quantitative data analysis. Survey research and all, we are using that one. And the NVO, the first, third, the Atlas T, it's a different, data analysis software. They are peculiarly meant for, specifically meant for qualitative data analysis. So that is the idea here. So, which is not a common qualitative data analysis software. It is not related to qualitative analysis, but it is related to quantitative data analysis, SPSS. So, SPSS is primarily used for quantitative data analysis, while the other options are commonly used for qualitative data analysis. So, SPSS is primarily used for quantitative data analysis. We keep this in mind. Sometimes questions may be there. I think I asked previously. What is the term for the process of returning research findings to participants to ensure their perspectives are accurately represented? What is the term for the process of returning research findings to participants to ensure their perspectives are accurately represented? There is a particular concept called member checking. It may be something new. Maybe in certain books it will be there. Member checking. It is not very common, but then it is there in qualitative research. Member checking involves sharing research findings with participants to validate the accuracy of their representation in the study. Member checking involves sharing research findings with the participants to validate the accuracy of their representation in the study. Of course, you understood the general meaning, I hope so. Which qualitative research approach focuses on understanding the lived experiences of individuals and often involves the use of narrative data. Again, I read the question. Which qualitative research approach focuses on understanding the lived experiences of individuals and often involves the use of narrative data? Out of these 4 options, which is the right one? That is phenomenology. There is a research type called phenomenology, which we are going to describe also. We will be doing that. Phenomenology is an approach in qualitative research that seeks to understand the lived experiences of individuals and often involves the analysis of narrative data. I can give an example so that you understand it better, because such kind of things you must understand with an example. For an example, the researcher want to study, or interview the corona patients in a particular village. Almost all the people in a particular village have been affected by coronavirus. Now, some have died and some are living. Yes, you go and then have an interview with them. They give the narratives, how they have suffered, what were the symptoms they were experiencing, and what was the agony they were undergoing while this coronavirus was affecting the entire village. See, all these things in the narrative style they will be giving. So, this is called understanding the lived experience of individual, often involves the analysis of narrative data. Narrative data means what this corona people say as their experience, and narrative data, and then you analyze that, the lived experiences of individuals, because they have undergone this again, because of this coronavirus. So this is phenomenological research. So phenomenology is an approach in qualitative research that seeks to understand the lived experiences of individuals and often involves the analysis of narrative data from the coronavirus people. So if you keep this example, you will understand this better. Phenomenology research is that one. Mixed methods research. Mixed methods research integrates both quantitative and qualitative research approaches to provide a comprehensive understanding of a research problem. Mixed methods research integrates both quantitative and qualitative research approaches to provide a comprehensive understanding of a research problem. It involves collecting and analyzing both numerical and non-numerical data to gain a deeper insight into the topic. Researchers use mixed methods designs to capitalize on the strength of both quantitative and qualitative research. This approach is commonly utilized in education, public health and psychology. So this is mixed methods research. It involves collecting and analyzing both numerical and non-numerical data, that is both quantitative as well as qualitative methods. Some questions we will ask. What is the primary objective of utilizing mixed methods in qualitative research? So, what is the primary objective of utilizing mixed methods in qualitative research? So, just to go through all the options and choose the correct one. That is to enhance understanding through the integration of both qualitative and quantitative approaches. So that is the right one. To enhance understanding through the integration of both qualitative and quantitative approaches. That is, the primary objective of utilizing mixed methods in qualitative research. Please see this concept very clearly. Once and for all, get it fixed in your mind. What is the primary objective of utilizing mixed methods in qualitative research? That is to enhance understanding through the integration of both qualitative and quantitative approaches. Mixed methods research involves combining qualitative and quantitative research approaches to provide a more comprehensive understanding of the research phenomenon. So I hope you understood this. Which of the following best describes the concept of mixed methods research? Out of these four options, which is the correct one? Which of the following best describes the concept of mixed methods research? Just see the options. Of course, as we have already explained, what is the correct answer? Integrating both qualitative and quantitative research approaches in a study. So that is the correct answer. So mixed methods research combines qualitative and quantitative research methods to provide a broader and deeper understanding of the research topic. What is an example of a mixed methods research design? There is a particular concept very interesting and which is very important also. What is an example of a mixed methods research design? See, often it is not given in so many books, in a detailed manner some books are written, and there you will find all such concepts, but as far as the exam is concerned, we have to study all these things. Yes, I hope so. What is an example of a mixed methods research design? That is sequential exploratory design. What is an example of a mixed methods research design? This is the design. What does this mean? Sequential exploratory design means what? Sequential exploratory design involves conducting qualitative research first, followed by quantitative research to build upon and better understand the qualitative findings. In order to understand the qualitative findings, you are using both qualitative research as well as quantitative research. So that you must understand. That is called a sequential exploratory design. So sequential exploratory design involves conducting qualitative research first, followed by quantitative research to build upon and better understand the qualitative findings. In mixed methods research, what is the purpose of the convergent design? Another important concept, maybe a new concept. In mixed methods research, what is the purpose of the convergent design? Out of these four alternatives, answers which is the correct one? In mixed methods research, what is the purpose of the convergent design? That is to compare and contrast qualitative and quantitative data for validation of the results. To compare and contrast qualitative and quantitative data for validation. Convergent design involves collecting and analyzing both qualitative and quantitative data simultaneously, aiming to compare and contrast the results for a more comprehensive understanding, full understanding, complete understanding. So convergent design involves collecting and analyzing both qualitative and quantitative data simultaneously, aiming to compare and contrast the results for a more comprehensive understanding. That is called convergent design. Simultaneously, you have to see there is a difference between the sequential sequential exploratory design and this design. There is a difference. This convergent design involves collecting and analyzing both qualitative and quantitative data simultaneously at the same time. Whereas in a sequential exploratory design, first you are using qualitative research and then quantitative research. Whereas in this one, that is namely the convergent design, you are using both simultaneously at the same time. So you must see the difference now. What might a researcher opt for an explanatory sequential design in mixed methods research? The question is, when might a researcher opt for an explanatory sequential design in mixed method research? Explanatory sequential design. Just see all the four alternatives. That is when aiming to validate qualitative findings with quantitative data. Only at that moment you are using this. When aiming to validate qualitative findings with quantitative data. And the explanatory sequential design starts with the qualitative data collection and analysis, followed by quantitative data collection to validate or explain the qualitative finding. In order to explain the qualitative findings, you are using quantitative data. After qualitative data collection, first you are doing qualitative data collection, then quantitative data collection you do. For what is the purpose? To validate or explain the qualitative finding. That is the purpose. What role does triangulation play in mixed methods research? What role does triangulation play in mixed methods research? Just see all the four options. Just see for yourself all the four options, which is the correct one. See, try to understand the question. What role does triangulation play in mixed methods research? That is, validating research findings by comparing multiple data sources or methods. Validating research findings by comparing multiple data sources or methods. Triangulation involves using multiple data sources or methods to validate research findings and enhance the credibility and reliability of the study. So the triangulation involves using multiple data sources. Already we have explained that. I hope you understood that. Next, which phase of mixed methods research involves integrating qualitative and quantitative data for interpretation? Which phase of mixed methods research involves integrating qualitative and quantitative data for interpretation? Which phase? That is interpretation phase. The interpretation phase in mixed methods research involves integrating and synthesizing both qualitative and quantitative data for a comprehensive understanding of the research topic. In mixed methods research, what is the purpose of the explanatory design? There is another concept called explanatory design. In mixed methods research, what is the purpose of the explanatory design? So out of these four options, which is the correct one? Just see for yourself. That is, to explain or elaborate on quantitative findings with qualitative data. To explain or elaborate on quantitative findings with qualitative data. The explanatory design aims to explain or provide further insights into quantitative findings using qualitative data. Dear friends, there are three things here. In one, concept, first qualitative data, then quantitative data. In order to explain qualitative data, it came. In another one, both simultaneously. Another concept, we came across a particular concept. There we use both the data simultaneously, quantitative and qualitative. Whereas here, this explanatory design, first quantitative findings and qualitative data. Of course, you understood three different things actually. So the explanatory design aims to explain or provide further insights into quantitative findings using qualitative data. What is an advantage of using mixed methods in qualitative research? What is an advantage of using mixed methods in qualitative research? Just to see all the four options. That is, enhanced understanding through a combination of different research approaches. Because we have seen three types actually. First quality data, then quantitative data. Then quantitative and quality data simultaneously. Then quantitative data first, then qualitative data. You see the differences. So, in general, enhanced understanding, mixed methods research gives you the enhanced understanding through a combination of different research approaches. Utilizing mixed methods provides a more comprehensive and deeper understanding of the research phenomenon by integrating qualitative and quantitative approaches. Which phase of mixed methods research involves determining the sequencing and timing of qualitative and quantitative components? Which phase of mixed methods research involves determining the sequencing and timing of qualitative and quantitative components? There are different phases, and which is the right one? That is a planning phase. Of course, planning phase. The planning phase of mixed methods research involves determining the sequencing, timing, and integration of qualitative and quantitative components in the research design. What is a mixed methods research? Basic question we are asking at the end. What is a mixed methods research? Of course, by this time you should be understanding this. That is, mixed method research combines both quantitative and qualitative research methods and data collection techniques. Which of the following is not a key characteristic of mixed methods research? Which of the following is not a key characteristic of mixed methods research? That is, deductive approach is not there. It is not a key characteristic of mixed methods research. Actually, we are using inductive method as well as deductive method, but we are not solely using deductive method. So that is not that is not a key characteristic of mixed methods research. That is the understanding. Mixed methods research can use both deductive and inductive approaches. So it is not exclusively deductive. No, it is not so. That's why we say that is not the characteristic of mixed method research, deductive approach. Then, what is data triangulation? Again, you just see sequential data collection, data triangulation, integration of quantitative quality, all these come under mixed methods research. Deductive approach is not there. Try to understand, such questions are often asked. Mixed methods research can use both deductive and inductive approaches, so it is not exclusively deductive. Next question, what is data triangulation in mixed methods research? What is data triangulation in mixed methods research? That is, data triangulation involves using multiple sources of data to validate or corroborate research findings, or to give more validity and trustworthiness to research findings, to validate or trustworthiness, reliability. To corroborate means reliable research findings. Which type of mixed methods design involves collecting quantitative and qualitative data simultaneously with the equal priority? This is how there are three types we were talking about. They are asking this question. Which type of mixed methods design involves collecting quantitative and qualitative data simultaneously with equal priority? What is that? Sequential explanatory design, that we know. First qualitative results, then quantitative results, sequential. And convergent design, that is the correct answer. Then sequential exploratory design, that is different. That is first quantitative research, then qualitative research. Whereas convergent design, both together, both at the same time. So you must understand the three different types of mixed methods research design. That is, convergent design involves collecting both quantitative and qualitative data at the same time with equal emphasis. In mixed methods research, what is the purpose of the exploratory phase in a sequential exploratory design? Try to understand the question. In mixed methods research, what is the purpose of the exploratory phase in a sequential exploratory design? Out of these four alternatives, which is the correct one? That is to generate hypothesis for further testing. So that is the idea. What is the purpose of the exploratory phase in a sequential exploratory design? That is to generate hypothesis for further testing. The exploratory phase in a sequential exploratory design is meant to generate a hypothesis for further testing in the quantitative phase. Next question, which of the following is an example of qualitative data collection method commonly used in mixed methods research? Which of the following is an example of qualitative data collection method commonly used in mixed methods research? Surveys, experiments, interviews, observations, that is interviews. Interviews are a common qualitative data collection method used in mixed methods research. What is the primary aim of integrating quantitative and qualitative data in mixed methods research? What is the primary aim of integrating quantitative and qualitative data in mixed methods research? Out of these four alternatives, which is the correct one? That is to provide a more comprehensive understanding of the research question. The integration of quantitative and qualitative data in mixed methods research aims to provide a more comprehensive understanding of the research question or problem. So question number 118. What is the limitation of a mixed methods research? What is the limitation of a mixed methods research? Out of these four, which is the correct one according to you? So B, option B, it may require expertise in both quantitative and qualitative methods. Only experts in both the methods can do it nicely in the mixed methods research design. So that is the idea here. Expertise. Normally one should be knowing every other thing in quantitative and qualitative methods. That is the idea here. One limitation of mixed methods research is that it may require expertise in both quantitative and qualitative methods, making it challenging for some researchers. Yes. Which of the following is an example of a mixed methods research question? See, there are 4 questions given, which is an example of a mixed methods research question. See, by the option B, you can very well see that. First, cultural beliefs, that is qualitative data comes. How can these findings be quantified? That is quantitative idea comes there. First qualitative data, then quantitative data. In that B option, I think you could analyze that. Like that you could analyze and find out. The question in option B combines your qualitative aspect, cultural beliefs, with the need for quantification, making it a mixed methods research question. Of course, you understood this, I suppose. Now we will go for the explanation of action research. Action research is a participatory approach where researchers collaborate with the individuals or communities to identify and solve practical problems. Action research is a participatory approach where researchers collaborate with the individuals or communities to identify and solve practical problems. The process involves iterative cycles. Iterative cycle means a repetitive cycle. It is repeated. The cycle is repeated till we get the correct theory or the comprehensive theory. So the process involves iterative cycles of planning, action, reflection and revision. So the repetitive cycle of planning, action, reflection and revision. Action research is particularly relevant in education, healthcare and community development, where it empowers stakeholders. Stakeholders means the parents, the experts, students, or whoever is interested in this research, those people, the stakeholders, to actively engage in the research process and drive positive change. So the action research is particularly relevant in education, healthcare and community development, where it empowers stakeholders to actively engage in the research process and drive positive change. What is the primary goal of action research? Out of these 4 options, which is the correct one? What is the primary goal of action research? To improve practice through systematic inquiry. To improve practice through systematic inquiry. Action research aims to enhance practical outcomes and processes by employing a cyclical process of planning, action, reflection and adaptation or reflection. So the action research aims to enhance practical outcomes and processes by employing a cyclical process of planning, action, reflection and adaptation. Which term best describes the cyclical nature of action research? Which term best describes the cyclical nature of action research? That is plan to study act, PDSA cycle we call it. Of course, there are different models, but action research, for action research, this is the correct one. Plan to study act. It comes to the steps, we understand the steps through this. Plan, do, study, act cycle, BDSA cycle. Plan, do, study, act, BDSA cycle. The BDSA cycle represents the iterative, repeated, repetitive nature of action research, involving planning, implementing, observing and refining actions based on outcomes. In action research, what role do stakeholders typically play? There are 4 alternatives. In action research, what role do stakeholders, that is parents or experts or government officials or whoever it may be, what role do stakeholders typically play in action research? That is active participants and collaborators. That is the right answer. Stakeholders are engaged actively in the action research process, contributing insights, experiences and perspectives to improve practice. Which aspect differentiates action research from traditional research and methodologies? Which aspect differentiates action research from traditional research methodology? Difference. Out of these 4 options, which is the correct one? That is direct involvement of practitioners, participants in other words. Action research involves practitioners actively participating in the research process, aiming for practical improvements and solutions. Which researcher is often credited with pioneering the concept of action research? Which researcher is often credited with pioneering the concept of action research? That is Kurt Lewin. Kurt Lewin is widely recognized for pioneering action research, introducing the concept in the 1940s and emphasizing the role of collaboration and change. Kurt Lewin. What is the key principle of action research concerning the research setting? What is the key principle of action research concerning the research setting? Out of these four options, which is the correct one? Key principle of action research. That is, the research occurs in the natural context of the participants. The research occurs in the natural context of the participants. Action research is conducted in the real world context, where the issues or problems are experienced, allowing for authentic and meaningful solutions. Actually, for an example, some felt need or some problem, a concrete problem in the classroom. The teacher indulges in action research, the real world context. In the real world context with the problems. And he sees the problems and tries to solve the problem through action research. So action research is conducted in the real world context where the issues or problems are experienced. That you have to understand that. In action research, what is the term reflection referred to? There are four options: thoughtful analysis and evaluation of action. Of course, that is the correct one. Thoughtful analysis and evaluation of actions and outcomes. That is called reflection. No, in one of the stages will be reflection. One of the process activities in the action research. Stages of action research is reflection. What does this mean? Thoughtful analysis and evaluation of actions and outcomes. Reflection involves critically assessing actions and the results, aiding in informed decision making and subsequent adjustments. What is the fundamental purpose of the action phase in action research? What does this mean? Action. We say action research. What does this word action mean? Just try to understand, which is the correct one. Just see. That is implementing planned strategies to address identified issues. Implementing planned strategies already, after studying you come across certain strategies. You implement, that is called action. In classroom situation, you reflect, you study the problem, you reflect on it and you take certain strategies in order to solve the problem. So, what does this action mean in action research? That is implementing planned strategies to address identified issues. The action phase involves executing planned actions to bring about change and improvement in the targeted area based on research insights. I hope all technical terms are there, but you understand the concept, that's enough. Which of the following best describes a primary characteristic of participatory action research, PAR? Participatory action research. Which of the following best describes a primary characteristic out of these four options? That is involvement of community members in the research process. Involvement of community members in the research process. That is participatory action. Participation by the people. That is, that is called participatory action research. Participation by the people. So the involvement of community members in the research process, that is called participatory action. Participatory action research emphasizes active involvement and collaboration of community members, integrating their knowledge and perspectives into the research process. Which research approach emphasizes collaboration, democratic participation and social change? Which research approach emphasizes collaboration, democratic participation and social change? That is participatory action research. Of course, participatory action research places a strong emphasis on involving stakeholders, fostering collaboration, promoting democratic participation and aiming for meaningful social change through research efforts, endeavors. What is the primary purpose of action research? Of course, the same word is given in different terms, but it is nevertheless, helpful, in order to crack NET exam. different words. Same idea is given in each question, but then different words are there. But better to understand all this for the sake of our own betterment. What is the primary purpose of action research? Out of these four alternatives, which is the correct one? To solve practical problems. Action research is primarily focused on addressing real-world issues and solving practical problems in a specific context. Which of the following best describes the iterative nature of action research? Which of the following best describes the iterative nature of action research? Out of these four, which is the correct one? So the third one, of course, we already studied in the theory. It involves the cycles of planning, acting, observing, and reflecting. Action research involves a continuous process of planning, taking action, observing the results, and reflecting on those results. To action research in experimental education